In this video, we're going to be talking about how to go and make a sign for your business, whether it be large or small. So definitely stay tuned for that. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification icon for all of our newest videos. And definitely check out our social media links that we have posted here on the screen. All right, let's go and get to this. All right, sign making 101 or 203 or wherever you're at in your current woodworking situation. So sign making is actually something that's pretty easy for the most part in woodworking. However, can have some of the highest value if you're going to be selling. And also, quite frankly, it looks a lot nicer than sitting there writing with a piece of paper and a pen when you're trying to announce something. That being said, lots of cool things you can do. You can put up dad's garage, mom's garage, whomever's garage, shop, whatever it is you like. Or maybe you're going to be starting your own woodworking business and you're like, hey, you know what? We do all these cool boxes and we got all this stuff, but we want to give that little extra oomph of professionalism. How hard can this be? Well, the answer is not very hard. Sign making is actually pretty simple, like I say. So that being said, the first thing you have to kind of figure out is how big you want your sign to be. So, do you want it to be a little sign like this where, it's just going to be a little live edge slab that you're going to be putting, maybe above a door, something like that. Maybe you want to accentuate this, maybe fill this in, put some bow ties, whatever, just to be over impressive. You can definitely do that. Or do you want to go with something large like this guy over here? And this one is a very large piece of board and can definitely make a very large sign. Now, all that being said, when you're trying to figure out exactly what you want to do for your sign, the best thing to do is figure out what your template's going to be. And I do recommend a router template to give the best possible quality. So when you're figuring that out, you just need to make sure that your largest letter, in this case, this is pretty much about the largest letter you can get for this specific template set, is going to fit on your board that you're actually going to be doing. And also you have the ability to go and do some trimming and stuff that you would normally do in order to prep wood, basically. So trimming, planing, whatnot. And as long as it does, then you're pretty much good to go. So the math is not very complicated on these things. And if you're going to be doing like what we're going to be doing here on ours, we're going to be doing a multi-level sign where we're going to have multiple levels of things. So we're going to actually put woodwork and then therapy, and then we're going to put established, and then our establishment date. And that'll be kind of nice because then we'll be able to have that up here in the shop, and then when you folks are watching our videos, you'll get a chance to see it. And also, we'll also be using it as examples, when we go to sell our own products out on the open marketplace, which is kind of nice. So, needless to say, sign making can be both awesome, beautiful, and profitable. And all those things are very, very important. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going and running you through the processes of how we're actually going to build a multi-tier sign. And then after that, we're going to show you how to do a quick glue up on that, which you probably already know if you're already watching this video. But if you don't, definitely stay tuned for the glue up because we're going to have some secrets in there about how we're actually doing the glue up and such. And then after that, we'll go into the routing phase, which will be the letters being carved out of the actual wood. And then we'll give it probably a little bit of style and flair because, hey, why not? It's your sign. You want it to look good, right? Of course you do. And then, of course, we'll go through a finishing phase as well. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we go through the process. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, so we went ahead and worked out the dimensions for our sign that we're doing. So we're going to be doing a 3-tiered sign, or basically 3 boards tall, because I wanted the sign to be more compact and able to go and fit onto one of our walls over here, which, like most of you, we don't have like a ton of space to be sticking up random signs. So that being said, we're going to do our sign. Our initial cut's going to be at 30 inches, and then we'll kind of trim back from there. We only need about 29.5, but as you'll find in pretty much anything in woodworking, you always want to start a little bit larger and then work your way back down until you get to that perfect size. So that's what we're going to do here on this. So we're just going to take this over to the table saw and start getting some rough cuts done on that. Then we'll go ahead and do all the prepping and everything necessary and start building this thing. All right, so we've got our blanks all set up here. They're all about 30 inches. We have a little bit of inconsistency in there that we're gonna fix, but overall, that should do it. So now it's just a matter of jointing them so this way they will fit together, and then after that, then we'll cut them down and do a quick rip and get this all on the same level. So that's really about it. Let's do it. Alright, so we're going to be using a biscuit joiner to go and join the boards. This is not necessary in a lot of cases, but it just makes it a little bit easier to align when we go to do the glue up. So if you don't have one of these, feel free not to buy one. But if you do, this one's pretty good. Check it out. There'll be a link down in the description. So let's go and get to this. Now that we got the board all sanded down and joined together and looking all really good and flat and plain and everything, we're going to go ahead and cut out some notches from the side. And this will give us a nice little side profile. So when we run our bit through here, we'll kind of come up here and kind of around. It's going to look really, really nice. We're going to do a Roman OG or OG, depending upon how you pronounce it, to actually do that. So already got that loaded in the router, so we're really excited. We're just going to go for it. So let's do this. All right, so we're just going to get pretty close to the side here. Probably not the most recommended thing to do in the world, but it'll work. And we're just going to go ahead and start drilling in.
There we go.
There we go. All right, as you can see, that can be a little fun. You get a quarter. All right, so we'll go ahead and work on the other sides here and get those all done. So now that we got all these cut out, we're going to go ahead and do the Roman ogi. We're actually going to do this in kind of the more traditional Old West looking style. So if you notice here, I don't know if it'll focus in, there you go. If you notice here, we have this raised slightly above there, so that way we get that entire top cut as part of the actual cut itself. So it'll give that really like textured Old Western style kind of look, which kind of works because, well, quite frankly, we're in the West, so it is what it is. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get that knocked out here real quick, and well, you're gonna enjoy the show, so there you go. Let's do this. All right, there you go. So that is a Roman ogi, kind of more or less in the old-fashioned style. So that's pretty much basically how you do it. So just put the bit down a little bit lower than you probably would normally, and before you know it, with a little bit of cutting in here, have some really nice corners, and then all you have to do is just sand off any burn marks that might be in there, which you're going to probably have several, so don't feel bad. But yeah, so that gets that part of the sign done. So now we've got our base template for the sign. So now we get to use the templates on the template of the sign. Right, just go with it. Let's do this. Okay, cool. So we got everything set up here. So you can see we got a ton of lines here. We've got some of the basics written out here on the board and everything. A few things that we're doing is we're I'm going to level off from the top of the board, so we want one of these little guys. If you don't have one of these little guys, they're always a good thing to have when you're doing this stuff. And we put some of these little dots here that Rockler has. Again, not sponsored. We don't sponsor anything, but or Rockler doesn't sponsor us at all, despite the fact how much Rockler stuff we have. But these little dots are actually kind of neat. They're supposed to be used to hold down the entire template. We're going to be doing a lot of movement. I'm actually just going to be taping the template. But these are just basically going to be there to help me position. You could do the same thing with double-sided sticky tape. Just put one in each area where you're going to be having pressure or movement, and you'll generally be fine. So let's get to that. On here we've got our bit put in. You know, so we just have a little bit the flat because we don't want a lot of flat on here. That's the design we're going for. And then of course we have our bushing right here that'll run against our template, which will make it nice and easy. So that's basically about it. I always recommend keeping the bushings with your font pack they're going to be using and the router bit if at all possible with your font pack, and just not use them for anything else because otherwise it really, you know, dulls them down when they're used on other projects. So that, and it's also a lot easier to take care of them this way. So basically we're just going to go into here. We'll just kind of do more or less kind of a plunge, kind of come in, and then we'll move back and forth and get all the remaining, and that's pretty much about it. So there really won't be much to it. So let's go and get started on this. So we're all done. We sanded it down about as far as we wanted to go. We wanted to leave a little kind of a patina look on it. So we have a little bit of still burning here, a little bit on the edges on purpose. Just kind of give it that kind of nice look, but we sanded it down really well. So as far as the top goes, we went ahead and sanded down the whole thing. This has been sanded up to about 150 grit. We didn't really want to go too crazy at this stage here, because the next thing we're going to be doing actually is coming in and actually doing some wood burning on here. And so you could do a few different things on here. You could do wood burning like we're going to be doing, which is a little over the top, I suppose. You could do painting at this point. And then you can even do the paint sand off thing if you want to be sloppy about it. Personally, I just like to see us just go in the corners, and I think it looks a lot nicer. Or you could do an epoxy fill at this point. It doesn't really matter. Something that's this big, I mean, these are 4-inch letters. They're pretty huge. You can kind of get away with whatever you want. We decided to opt in for wood burning because it's another thing that we do over here. So we're going to be actually coming in the actual individual letters and actually burning each individual letter until we're all the way through. And then this thing's going to be looking amazing. So we're going to get on that next, but I just kind of want to show you folks what it looked like. You can see it came out looking really, really nice, and kind of giving that old-fashioned look that we were looking for. So, all right, let's get to the wood burning. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do the wood burning part. And so basically just kind of go through here and just burn away. That smells so good.
The mahogany?
The mahogany, yes. So we'll probably go ahead and fast forward through this part, but just wanted to show you guys getting this started. And this actually goes pretty fast. So as you can see, this is real time you're looking at right now. So we'll go ahead and speed it up though, so you don't have to watch the entire thing in slow motion. And so like all crafters, you have one of these little guys. If you don't have one of these little guys and you're doing this for a business, get one of these. They're amazing. So all we have to do here is just go ahead and put this right on here. And we want to do this before we do our finishing. That's really important. Matter of fact, I think on this one, Hey, fancy. This is our sign anyway, but I think we're going to be a little fancy here. We're going to go and put it right about the middle left way. I don't think many people really pay much attention to these, but just in case somebody pulls it down someday, they'll get a chance to see that. So there you go. So now it's branded, stamped. Now all we have to do is just run the finishing and we will be good to go. So that's what's up next. All right, so we got the sign up. Everything's looking good, nice and stable, level, the whole 9 yards. And only took about maybe a few minutes to actually get it up on the wall and everything, so it really wasn't too bad. Long story made short, that's basically kind of what you could have for a final result on your sign if you really put the time and whatnot into it. You could have something really awesome like that. Now, for commercial purposes, this sign probably wouldn't be the best seller in the world, and the reason being is that the burning on here to go and create the kind of faux kind of black paint that's kind of rubbed off kind of a thing, that's really, really cool, but it's very, very, very time consuming. So therefore it's very expensive to do that because time is money. It is what it is. If you're going to spend the whole day on one sign, then you're probably going to charge a lot more. Also, we didn't make this out of like a pine or a cedar. This is made out of a mahogany. So it's a really expensive material in comparison. So there are a few little things like that that you might not do in your own signs that you're going to be selling. Now, for something for your own home or something like that, then yeah, you know what? Spend the time, put the love in. I think it's great. I absolutely do. I wouldn't find that there'd probably be a lot of profit in this unless somebody's willing to pay you a lot. I mean, you're talking like the amount of time and labor in this and the wood cost and all that, you're probably looking at around somewhere between $400 to $500 range would be my guess. I don't know, I haven't really figured it out, but that's probably in the ballpark. I'm generally pretty good at estimates. So just something to kind of consider when you're doing these is that, yeah, you can overdo them, which we definitely did on this one. But the whole idea was to give you different options to work with when building your own signs and stuff like that, and kind of give you some basics on sign routing and things along those lines. Now we're going to have some more videos coming out here later that'll go over more different types of sign effects and stuff like that that you can do. But this one's just primarily focused on the routed based signs. So we'll talk about the other ones a little bit later, and we've got a lot of really cool tips for that as well. So I hope this helped you out. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all of our newest videos. And also check us out on the other social medias. We're on Instagram, we're on Rumble, we're on Odyssey, we're on Twitter. We're on all those places, so definitely check us out there too. Sometimes we have a few extras in different places. Oh, and don't forget Facebook. I almost forgot Facebook, so there you go. So anyway, check us out, and yeah, we'll see you folks next time. Stay safe in the shop.